Why am I paying for Lasso? Because I need help with that aspect of my business. That's the same thing you're doing. Remember, these people were looking for help. They were scrolling on the internet. They're thinking about how they're not happy, how they're not a good husband, they're not a good wife. They want to be a better dad, a better employee. They want to be better at so many things outside the gym. It's bigger than like getting them a hang clean or showing them a snatch. It's bigger than that.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple. As you guys know, I'm Sherman. Today we have a special guest, Matt Giodarno from CrossFit Newtown. First of all, Matt, thanks for hanging out with us, man. I know everyone's busy, so we appreciate your time.
Thank you guys.
Yeah. So let's sort of jump right into it. For people that may not know Matt, I want you to give us a quick little 2 or 3 minute, intro to you and that.
Absolutely. So I've been in the fitness industry for 30 years. Been a CrossFit affiliate for 15. I've worked in every avenue of fitness. I got my first job at a smoothie bar and a bodybuilding gym. Had no idea what I wanted to go to college for. So I was working in a bagel place too. And one of my coworkers was like, my dad went for exercise science. I'm like, what's that? They're like, you learn about working out. I'm like, cool, I'm in. I like working out. That's what I'm going to go do. Ended up going to play college soccer, studying exercise science, never looked back, never changed my major, knew what I wanted to do. Continued my education, got a coaching job for the school I was at, paid for my master's degree. And coming out, I worked in corporate fitness. I worked for a company that put fitness centers in Fortune 500 companies. I went from managing one to managing multiple. I've been the chief wellness director for a YMCA, been a personal trainer, been a strength coach. I mean, I've been all over the place. And then I was also a college professor at a junior college. One of my students was doing CrossFit back in the day when it first came out, and he's like, Coach G, because that's what they used to call me. They're like, you ever heard of CrossFit? And I heard of it, but like everyone else, they hate on it, but they don't know it. And he's like, you got to come do it. You got to come do it. So I went to that student's CrossFit gym, immediately fell in love with it. And it was everything that you hear about, right? Like the coaches are good. The community vibe was cool. Fell in love with it. And then a year or two later, I worked at some CrossFit gyms, eventually stumbled upon my business partner by accident. It turns out, it's funny how I met my business partner. He had a small CrossFit gym back in the day when you could open a small CrossFit gym. He had about 800 square feet. It was a makeshift workout space in the back of a chiropractic office. And the coach, what happened was I saw an ad on Craigslist. And I was like, when people used to look for gigs on Craigslist, right? So I'm looking for a gig and I find this CrossFit coach. So I call him up and I said, I'm calling about the CrossFit coach position. And he goes, we don't have one open. And I was like, all right, well, I saw something on Craigslist and we started talking. And he's like, listen, you're interesting enough that I think I want to meet you. So let's have you come down. So I show up and it's typical, like walk in the gym. I see guys with their shirts off, chains on their necks, slamming a sledgehammer. And I'm like, what am I getting into here? So anyway, turns out this coach was leaving. He was the only coach there and he was leaving. And he was like, trying to do it secretly. He was posting his job opening, hoping that he can fill it, right, prior to him telling my business partner now that he was leaving. So we found that out, and what happened was I never called the number on the Craigslist ad. I Googled the actual gym and called the office line. That's how I spoke to the owner. And we were together for a few years. I was a coach, grinded it out. I coached, I was doing team strength and conditioning, CrossFit classes, personal training, all that stuff. And eventually we moved to another location. He was like, you're going to manage this thing for me. And then right before COVID, probably the worst time, is before we knew COVID was out there. I
Yeah.
was like, I saw a vision for the gym, and we were moving to our third location, and we were going to do a big renovation. So I knew he needed capital, right? As a partnership, like I knew we were going to do a big renovation. I didn't know if he needed capital, but I had capital to offer. So
Yeah.
I offered him for half the gym, and with clear roles on who was going to be responsible for what. He accepted, and we just hit the ground running until COVID started. COVID
Yeah.
shut us down. My family's money was in the gym. We had just started really rolling and stuff. We shut down. And within 24 to 48 hours, my coaching staff is amazing. We developed a full online model. We used to have 30 people showing up to Zoom classes, which is crazy when you think about we actually went through this.
Oh yeah.
And
For sure. It is. It really is.
it was crazy, and to think about, for me, I'm a competitive person, right? I was a competitive CrossFitter that burnt me out. I'm no longer competitive in that. I think it actually, that part was like bad for the community. But I really think COVID either shut you down or made you better. And all I was like, I had one goal in mind. I was like, listen, these people that work for me are depending on me to get paid. I have my family's money in this business now, our savings. So I have to work my tail off and make sure this works. And we absolutely did it. Like I was doing a lot of content. I was making it valuable for we were competing against everyone else that was at home. So instead of wasting a lot of time writing letters to your local reps, like I need this money, I need that money, I was like,
Yeah.
how do we make this business better? And we absolutely did. I say COVID was the best thing that happened to my gym.
Oh man,
Absolutely
that's
the
crazy.
best thing that happened to our gym. And then like fast forward, we eventually opened back up. We changed our business model. We're a PT first model. So we changed our business model. We wanted to give full-time opportunities to coaches. We wanted to be able to provide coaching development all the time as far as formal education, informal, in-house stuff. And we were doing good. We were doing really, really good. And like what got me into Lasso, right? Like how did that phone call happen? So
Yeah.
we were doing really good, and I met. So we have seven coaches. We had six coaches at the time. I would say four of them are doing this. They're making it as a living, right? You're like, is living
Yeah.
monetary? It kind of is. Like, if you could buy houses and cars, you're doing this for a living, right? If you could support
Correct.
a family, like I don't
Correct.
care if it's 100,000, 40,000, like whatever the number is. If you're comfortable, you're secure, you're doing this for a living. So I met this girl Shayna years ago. She dropped into my gym shortly after COVID. So this is probably like 4 or 5 years ago. And she was from Arkansas, and we hit it off. I said, if you're ever, I would love to hire you. Like she was a coach, she was a CrossFit gym owner. COVID kind of, ruined that for her, and she was looking just to coach, and nothing panned out then because I just didn't see how we were going to create a full-time opportunity for yet another coach, because it's not common in the fitness industry to be a full-time fitness professional. It's just not.
Yeah.
So
True.
it's funny how things happen. So probably 4 months ago, she called me and says, hey, or she texted me and goes, hey, would you guys have an opening? I'm going to relocate to the area. I would love to work at your gym.
Mm.
So I was like, and I like pressure. I love pressure. Right? I love it. I love it. So I said, listen, I would hire you right away, but I have a team here. I have a director of coaching. I have a youth manager. I have a coordinator. I'm like, you need to come here and meet the team. You got to stay with us for a week. You got to come into the culture, come into the community. And as a formality, you are going to coach a group session for us, and we're going to teach you everything else. But we need to see that at the end. So without
Yeah.
hesitation, she flew out here. She stayed with us for a week. I knew after the first 5 minutes of watching her coach that it was a deal for me. My director of
Yeah.
coaching wanted to watch a little bit more for some of the finer details we're looking for. So we offered her a job, and we offered her a job based upon, I'm going to work my tail off to make sure you have a full-time career here. We had nothing. We had nothing to offer her, and we were
Yeah.
doing fine. I have a coaching staff that all is paid. They're paid well. They like it. They feel
Yeah.
professionally satisfied. But then the pressure started. And the thing with me is I'm the kind of guy that if I say I'm going to do it, I'm going to
Yeah.
absolutely do it, right? That's what I'm going to do. So I said, let's go with this. Here's how the ramp up's going to be. Here's what to expect. So she's been here. So we hired her. And then as soon as we hired her, I was already looking because I'd worked with Stuart Brower of
Yep.
WTF Gym Talk. And I've been
Yep.
listening to his podcast, and he mentioned you guys, and he's a trusted individual in my circle. So I did have interest. So what I did was I went to your website. I filled out some interest, but I didn't complete it. So I got some nurturing and stuff like that. Got a lot of text messages, a lot of emails. And then really it's like I looked at like what we were bringing in, and I was like, I'm a 70% closer, right? So those are good numbers in the fitness industry, but 70% of a low number is nothing anyway, right? And I'm gonna and I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna lose 4 people a month. That's my churn rate. Like I'm gonna lose four
Yeah.
people a month, and I promised her a full-time position, right, within the matter of a month. So the
Yeah.
pressure was on me. So I had to reach out to you guys and pull the trigger and have the conversation. Even when I had the conversation with you guys, I had certain people on my team there to make sure, hey, listen, if we're making this decision, let's make it together because we just promised someone a full-time opportunity. And I don't think she really knows the depth of the story of why we kind of went with Lasso, but I needed more people to talk to. I needed more people to talk to, and just an update. She's well on her way to being full time. Well
Yeah.
on her way,
Like,
and I've been with
good.
you guys we started October 1st.
Yep. Yep. No, I remember that. No, I remember
I'm a
that.
new
So,
guy.
you know, yeah,
I'm a
yeah,
new guy.
fairly new. Fairly new. I mean, the beautiful thing for us is that when someone you like one of our big things that we tell people often when they come and talk to us, we're like, hey, if you need to let me make sure I try to find the right term, hit a home run on day one, we're probably not a good fit for you. And like you were coming to us saying, hey, like I want to do this. I had plans, but we saw that, okay, like this guy's business isn't in trouble. He's just trying to take it to the next level, which made it appealing for us to work with you guys. And then now, having been with us, about 2 months, let's talk a little bit about the success that you guys have had in those 2 months already, because
For
it's
sure.
pretty incredible.
So what I like to explain it as is I like to grill. And I have a good grill at home. But there's one thing wrong with the grill. It's fine. It works, right? I can grill like really good dinners on it. But the one thing that is a problem with it is the ignition. So when I turn on the propane and hit the starter, like only one burner goes. So what do I have to do? I have to take one of those long candlestick lighters, right?
Yeah,
And stick it in there, and then the thing erupts, and you hear like the flames going, right?
yeah,
That's exactly what happened here. As soon as we turned it on, we went from fine to roaring. As soon as we turned it on. And it
yeah.
was literally the first week I couldn't believe it. And trust me, I had my doubts and my mistrust. I did.
Oh yeah,
I
everyone
did
does.
because
Everyone does.
I've been through this. I've been through it, and I expressed that to you guys that I had a distrust for like digital marketing, and I had someone that had worked for a digital marketing company on the call that works for me on there because I was a coach. I was also a salesperson, but like marketing kind of wasn't my thing. I didn't understand it. Like I just didn't get it. But literally turned the gas on, so or ignited the flame, and now it's more than fine. So month one, we were going from getting probably 20 to 30 leads in a month to getting 80 in our first month. All right. And then out of those 80, to get where I wanted to go, we had to close 15. I closed 15. All right. Out of those
Yep,
80 leads. But out of those 80 leads, that was a lot of me picking up the phone. That was a lot of
yep.
our CRM doing the automated nurturing and stuff like that. Anyone's not using a CRM, like use a CRM because like
Correct.
you're not going to be able to survive without this.
You're not.
So
You're
you
not.
can't. So, and out of those 80 people, some of them are going to be cold. But what happened was I got better on the phone because now I'm getting more reps. I got better at sales. And I'm not a sleazy salesperson. Like, I believe I have a valuable product and it's worth a certain amount of money. And I'm going to try to provide that value and then sell you on that service. So, month one was great. And here's the interesting what happened month two. Month two was not as many leads. And what you have to understand is I understand this fully is when you commit, like I ask people to commit 3 months to us. You guys asked me to commit 6 months, and I understand why. It's the same thing we're asking our clients. You have to commit because this is the long game and not every month. You could expect a month or two, to be subpar, and you're like, what's going on? But it wasn't subpar because my skills are better, because I'm on the sales calls, I'm meeting with my mentors. So for this month, for example, we're not all the way through the month yet.
Yep.
My target is 80 leads. I have about
Yep.
40. But this is what the cool part is. I have about 40, and I have a consult later today, and I have a bunch booked for next week, and I'm 2 clients away from meeting my monthly target.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's because I'm getting more reps. I'm taking advantage of all the sales calls. I'm on there, whether I'm listening or participating. I'm on there because it all helps. And even I've been doing sales for a long time. And like sometimes you just need, like, what are we selling people on? Accountability. I told
Yep.
Tommy's a great mentor. And I told him, he's like, what do you need from me? The fact that I have to contact you every 2 weeks and we have to meet face to face over the computer, it's holding me accountable. It's the same thing I'm selling my clients, is
Yeah.
accountability. So you don't think that the week I'm supposed to meet with him and I'm like 3 away, that I'm trying that much harder because I want
Yeah.
to, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Like, I want to show you that I'm actually doing it. And for me, the accountability piece, and this is what we're selling our clients, is like the most important piece for me. Is I know I have to get on the phone. I have to get on the
Yeah.
phone. I have to talk to Tommy. And when things aren't going right, we're going to troubleshoot it. And that's the number one thing that I felt so valuable, is like the comprehensive system is not just digital marketing. It's a system, and it's a sales process, and you're refining your sales skills. You're refining your communication. And talking about communication, there's 3 things that make a great leader of any organization, right?
Yep.
Number one, it's communication.
Yep.
And that's what we do. That's what we're doing here. So if you're not a great communicator, like, yeah, I can write emails, I can write text. How do you talk? How do you talk?
Correct.
How do you make them believe, right? That's communication. That's how you're going to be successful. And I'm picking up things every single week about communication, text message communication, verbal communication. And those things have been such a game changer for me. Absolute game changer. And we talk about a 6-month commitment, and I was just in staff meetings, and I'm just like, I don't see a reason why we would ever turn this off,
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
and and I can't reiterate enough. You're selling a product because you've developed a product, you think it's valuable, right? And that's, at the end of the day, that's what your mindset should be. And if that's your mindset, this can't fail. It can't fail. Can't.
Yep. No, I agree. I think one of the biggest things is, like you kept mentioning the sales training, because that's a big part of what we do as well. But like so many people, they're stuck up on like, I don't like sales, or I don't want to feel like a used car salesman. I'm just like, yes, I get that, but like that's such the wrong mindset, because like you mentioned earlier, you are selling a product unlike a used car salesman, where you know that if they commit to what you're trying to provide for them and they do what you say, it is impossible for them not to be successful. As opposed to a used car salesman, okay, they know you're going to drive it off the car lot in a month is going to be a lemon.
Yep.
But like what we're selling, it pretty much guarantees results. So I go as far as saying, if you don't become better or great at sales in the position, you're actually doing clients a disservice, because you're going to let them leave and go to someone else
hmm
that can actually sell. And
hmm
now it's going to be not as great for them when you had them right in your grasp at one point.
Absolutely. And what I try to what I try to tell people is, I'm involved in some calls for CrossFit. It's like, when you're doing sales, like, you have to take your personal opinion of the financial amount out of the equation, right?
Correct.
Because listen, we're in the fitness profession because we do this. It's our lifestyle, right? And although you may think like, well, I wouldn't pay that much for a membership, maybe not, but you do pay that much for other things that you need help with.
Yep.
I go to an integrative doctor, an integrative health doctor, right? So I go to a holistic doctor who's a concierge service. I pay a top premium price because I want help with that aspect of my life, and I'm willing to pay for help. Why am I paying for Lasso? because I need help with that aspect of my business. That's the same thing you're doing. Remember, these people were looking for help. They were scrolling on the internet.
Correct.
And they're thinking about how they're not happy, how they're not a good husband, they're not a good wife. They want to be a better dad, a better employee. They want to be better at so many things outside the gym. It's bigger than like getting them a hang clean or showing them a snatch. It's bigger than that. And when people really start understanding how big it actually is, that they sought you out, and maybe they weren't ready to talk on the phone yet, but eventually you got them, because the starting point's the hardest thing. Convincing someone to walk in through the door. If you can
Correct.
get them to walk in through the door, 80% of your sales pitch is done, right?
Correct.
It's really, really done. And you have to understand that they're coming there for bigger home run kind of changes in their life. And that is not cheap. It's
Yeah.
not cheap, and it costs money. Easy,
No,
easy.
I like I tell people this, like I've trained people literally all over the world in like gym sales. And I like I gotta figure out a way to get this plastered somewhere. If someone fills out a form online, then they drive across town and they walk in through your doors, I don't care what they say, they have a problem that they want solved, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so many people be like, well, they came in, they weren't really interested. No, no, no. You didn't do a good job at selling because they were interested. They've taken time out of their busy schedule. They've driven across town. They sat down in front of a stranger and talked about details that are pretty intimate, especially for women, right? Like, oh
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, I want to lose 15 pounds. I'm trying to. No, they are interested. Now, if you can't get them over that hump because you can't explain the value of what you provide, well, that's another story. But like you're saying, if they show up to the gym, you're about 80% there. Now
Yep.
that last 20%
Yep.
is definitely what you need to work on and stuff. But there, like you said, there's just so many people that want help and they're hesitant. Blake and I starting this company. One of the biggest things that we used to deal with in the early days, and still sort of now, people will come to us and say, "Well, how are you different from all the other guys? Like we've done some other stuff, and we've been, for lack of a better term, we've been screwed." And
Hmm.
we would strictly say, "Guys, we don't know anything about the other guys, but this is
Yep.
what we do. Like this is what we do. This is how we get results, and you will have to take a little chance on it. We can't guarantee you." And now that we have the ball rolling, um, we get those questions few and far between. But we do have people similar to you, Matt. You're saying, "Well, I was a little hesitant, but you had seen enough social proof to know, like, okay, these guys are sort of the real deal, I think." And
Yep.
then when you work with us, now you're like, "Oh yeah, these guys really are the real deal. There's no scheming and scamming."
Absolutely. And I know just from talking to you guys, like, the amount of research you've done on the wording and the images. And that's why I wasn't like really hell bent over, yeah, I want you to use my images. No, use the images and the wording that gets people to look at my gym.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it. I like to, it's set it and forget it. Set it and forget it. Just go. Let's do it. Get people in. I mean, they're people. I mean, even for myself, I look at my own behavior. I'm on social media. You don't think things are popping up on my social media that interest me, and I keep on looking at it, right? Because I have problems that I need solved. Everyone's got problems that they need solved, and I tell people when they come in and consult, you're gonna love it. My job today is to find out the problems that you need solved and tell you how we're going to solve them.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
Because it's so simple. Like people need to stop overthinking the sales process and like listen to their problems. Let's see how you're going to solve them. And that's exactly what you guys did for us. Like,
yeah,
what do you need? Do we have problems that we could solve? Absolutely. Okay, we should work together.
yeah. No, I think that's really the biggest thing, for us and gym owners listening to this. If you genuinely care about people when you talk to them, that is conveyed. Doesn't mean you're going to sign up every single person. I'm not saying that, but most people really know, like, okay, like this guy's really tuned in. He's really trying to help me get to my goals. And for us as a marketing company, one of our big things that we figured out from the beginning was that we needed to quote unquote over communicate because most marketing companies don't do that. So those bi-weekly calls in the beginning are game changers for us. And that really sets us apart. I know I know pretty soon we're going to change the industry standard where all of these companies are going to have to start getting on calls with people face to show them their work and show them their results. But so many companies, like you sign up for a marketing company, you can't even get anyone. You have to send an email, they'll respond in a day or two. As you know, like that's not the case with us.
Mhm.
If there's something wrong, we're responding to you. We'll jump on outside of the scheduled calls because we want to make sure you know that, hey, we're here for you. Your success is our success. Because just like you on this podcast, when you crush it, there's gonna be some gym owners listening to this being like, oh, okay, this guy really having a great time. He really speaking highly of these guys. Let me fill out that form and see if they can help me.
Absolutely. And another, I mean, what you got to realize is that when you join the group, you're speaking with gym owners just like you. I hear old gym owners, self me, on the calls that I'm in. I hear it. I hear it then, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
you talked about like the communication, overly communicate. You have a whole Slack channel full of people that you could drop a message into. And not only are you getting help from the people at Lasso, but you might get message from another gym owner and said, have you ever thought about it this way or try to do it like that? And there's just a wealth of knowledge, especially when you got a bunch of high performing gym owners that want to be successful. You can't fail. It's the same reason why people are successful in your gym, because you created the culture for people not to fail. And that comes
Yeah.
with the people that work with you, and that's the same thing with Lasso. It's hard to fail. It's really, really hard to fail.
Yeah.
You
No.
know,
I.
it is. And just being full of a group with like-minded individuals that the role playing is super meaningful. It helps. And I still get on there and I freeze up, and I've been doing this for a long time, and like, but you got to do that because those hard things, they make you better. They make you better. You got to struggle. You got to take some great constructive criticism and just give into the process, because it's going to work.
Yeah, no, I agree. No, I agree. I think that the cool thing for me is when someone really gets it, and you definitely get it. And I want to, everyone listening to this, we don't pay folks to come on this podcast and talk
No,
about like we want real feedback because that's how we get better. That's how the community rises, just all across the board. But tell me this: if someone's on the fence about working with us, like what would you tell them?
listen, I'm 44. I waited too long to be on the fence. I mean, what do we all get into this for? We wanted to help people and we want to get paid for it, right? As a gym owner, you want to be successful. You want to be able to feed your family, take care of your kids, take care of your husband or wife. And whatever measures you use to be successful, don't wait. I can give that advice because I feel like I made mistakes in the fitness industry. I feel like maybe a lot of people have, but you learn by them, right? Like, don't wait, because it's really hard to get to the next level without doing digital marketing and without working with Lasso, who know our niche. Boutique, micro gyms, whatever you want to call them, that's a niche, and that's not general fitness. It's not.
Yeah.
And I would say get off the fence, get on a call. At least we're asking people to get off the fence and come into our gym on a consultation. Have a consultation. See if you have problems that they can solve. Get off the fence and just do that part.
Yeah, yeah, no, and I think like one of the cool things, it's not the cool thing, but one of the things I take pride in is that we get to help the gyms that we really believe we can help, but like it's not really a bragging point, but we have to turn some gyms down because we don't think we're going to be a great fit for them, and I think that's unusual for a lot of people to say, oh, like these guys, I thought they could help me, they don't think they can, so they're not going to take my money. Oh, this is a little bit different because we've had people for various reasons. We don't think they're a good fit. We tell them, no, not now. Let's reconvene in 6 months or a year. And they come
Yeah.
back and they work with us. Because
Hmm.
we don't want to see anyone fail, man. We want to see everyone, especially in our community. That's one of our, like you meant, that's one of our great things. We are gym owners. We've been gym owners. So we get it. We're just not marketers out there talking about, okay, we need to figure out
Hmm.
this gym space. I was a gym owner for 13 years. Like I know what it's like in the trenches. So um,
Absolutely.
everything that we say and do is firsthand knowledge. So, Matt, first of all, man, thank you for your time today. It was phenomenal.
No problem. My pleasure, man. Anytime.
So, guys, as usual, tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week. All right.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's lassoframework.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.